Everybody, come on in, come on in. Thank you all so much for being here. I see you guys coming in. Thank you for the support. We are so glad that you all are here. Welcome back to your Elegance Boot Camp. We are on day 6 of 30 days towards your elegance journey. I am Maggie. You may know me as Maggie, the substitute teacher for my cooking channel. I'm all about food and femininity. I love helping feminine women attract and keep the masculine man of their dreams. Lucy and I are the founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, a privately taught 8-week online course. Registration is open. If you're interested, we have a new session starting in January. So that's a little bit about me. Lucy, would you like to introduce yourself?
And I'm Lucy. Hello again on this sixth day of our 30 Days of Elegance. It's always good to see you all. I see Lisa coming in, Kylie's coming in, Christopher in. So I'm hoping that you enjoy these 30 minutes of elegance.
Absolutely. So, this is our way of giving back. We have private classes, but we always love to make sure that we share what we can with you all. So, we're going to get right into it. This 30-day series is actually being taught by Vivienne from Woman of Elegance. She has a book. It's called Your 30-Day Guide to Elegance, or the Ultimate 30-Day Guide. And I have her permission that we can teach from her book. Her book is available for you all, linked in the description. If you would like your own copy, you can use code ELEGANCE20 to get 20% off. And we are so grateful that a very generous scholar and a student in our community, he's not a student, a sponsor in our community, has provided the book for free for all of our finishing school students, current and future. So without further ado, and thank you, that goes to Brandon Eljet. You all know him and love him. So let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen, give a tiny bit of a recap, and then move on to today's topic. Oh my goodness. We just, well, we haven't even gotten started. Mrs. Crow T. Shetty, I'm Ashy. Y'all, we were talking about grooming yesterday. I got to make sure my hands are soft, okay? Mrs. Crow T. Shetty, thank you for the $50 super chat. She says, for the lovely ladies, Lucasely and Maggie, got to put my boys in the bathtub. I got one over here. Please take him with you. Okay, not really, but thank you. That is so incredibly generous. So I will put you in the ticker. Yes, Brandon L. Jet is our sponsor for the books, but Mrs. Crow T. Shetty, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, caught me off guard. So exciting, so grateful. Okay, so let me share my screen and let us recap. Oh, where was it? Let us recap for anyone who might just be joining us now. All right, so we have covered several topics. And again, this is 30 days. So from November 1 through November 30th, Lucy and I will be here with you. So we are wrapping up our first section. Our first section was on dressing and grooming. So on Day 1, we talked about creating your own personal style, ladies, knowing what compliments you, knowing your style profile, getting your capsule wardrobe ready to be instantly elegant. On Day 2, we talked about that closet, making sure you go through everything, making sure it fits you and it's in good condition. Day 3, we talked about those shoes and how you can accessorize to add but not overdo your elegant look. Day 4, we talked about your makeup routine, your beauty routine, and hairstyles, making sure you keep it simple and something that you can easily reproduce. Yesterday was a big one. We talked about looking neat and smelling nice, and you all had a lot to say about grooming. It is incredibly important. So today, we are going to be talking about working on your posture, ladies. And I know some of this stuff can be like, oh my gosh, that's so hard, but it's important. All right. So let me go to our other screen. So, and we will see exactly what Vivienne has to say about it. All right. So, again, this is Vivienne Abena from Woman of Elegance. This is her book, and this is our text for our series. It is the Ultimate Elegance Guide, 30 days. All right. So, now we are going to be talking about working on your posture. And we're going to go through the text first, and then I want to break down this picture and show you all a few things that, a picture says a thousand words, and share with you all an experience that we had in the finishing school. Okay, so what does she say? First things first, Vivienne says, practice correct posture. Correct posture helps you to feel taller and walk elegantly. Straighten your back, pop out your chest, and draw your shoulders back and down. Bring your chin up when you walk, sitting or standing. Okay, so let's unpack that because it is a lot. And I am so excited to share with you all. If you like this topic, we do have a resource for you in the finishing school. On our week 8, we brought in a special guest, Sarah Badenova, who is a champion ballroom dancer, who had a workshop with our students, and we absolutely loved it. She showed us how to enter a room, how to stand elegantly. But at the end of the day, ladies, your confidence comes through in so many ways. If you're hunched over, and especially those of us who are on technology all the time, it just kind of stays with you, and you just kind of have that, that curve, that slouch over. So one of the things you can do is awareness. Try to sit towards the edge of the seat if you can, which kind of forces you to sit up. One of the things that I try not to do, especially when I'm speaking, is I never have my back all the way to the chair. You really don't want to just be kind of slouched back like that, because it just kind of collapses you. And another thing that I don't do, I never use the arms of the chair if I'm presenting. I try to keep myself in. It kind of squares my shoulders because it makes you look a little bit wider if you use the arms. So that's a couple of tips that I have. Lucy, what do you say about posture?
Great tips. And the fact that you allow yourself to lean back on the chair and have those arms on your resting your arms on the side of your chair, it's more of a masculine posture rather than feminine. As feminine, we just want to appear that we're engaged, and we're just um, interested in the topic by standing up straight, using our core muscles, your abs, and it always makes you look just so feminine.
That is so true. And ladies, there's so much work that you can do on this. It does take engaging those muscles, and it can feel uncomfortable and tiring over time. I always love to give you all some tangible tips. One of the things that I do when I'm out and about, which is not often, but let's say I'm at the coffee shop and I'm waiting in line, one of the things I was taught is to stand all the way back against a wall. Put your heels on the wall, your backside and your shoulders and your head. So everything is kind of in line. That's what it feels like when you're standing completely vertical. And it may seem a little bit awkward to you if you're used to kind of hunching over, or even Sarah taught us in her channel as the Femininity Project Inc. So you all can definitely check her out. Sometimes, we'll lean with our stomach and just kind of be a little bit off kilter. So that confidence comes through. You definitely need to practice it. I love what Vivienne said about practicing it, because some of this stuff is going to seem unnatural and maybe even uncomfortable at first, but you can absolutely work on it. And I love the part about keeping your chin up. Ladies, eye contact is incredibly important. Here's one of the hacks that I do, because y'all know I've shared with you on my elegance journey. I just kind of used to rush through and hop out of the car and go get the coffee and sit down and just be moving like a bull in the china shop. So I try to elegantly get out and stand up. And then when I enter a room, it could be a library, a coffee shop, any place, I take just a beat at the door, a moment, make sure that I'm standing, and I just look to the left and look to the right and then continue on. Almost like I'm looking for someone. So I learned that in my etiquette classes. It kind of gives this air of this person should be here, they belong here. And it's almost like I do, not like a full, y'all know I have a big smile, but I do like a little bit of just like I'm checking it out for a moment. And, when people walk into a space, it's natural if your head is down and you see them out of your periphery, right? You just kind of, look up for a second just to see what's going on and then go back to what you're doing. So, in that split second, especially ladies, because we know men are always watching, just slowing down and taking that beat when I enter a space, it just has a little bit of different energy to it and confidence to it, but not in a masculine kind of way. You don't even have to speak, just a simple head nod and a little smile with your eyes, and then enter in. Anything else, Lucy?
I totally agree, especially because now we're so used to having the social our phones in front of us. Just put it aside and look around, because so also situational awareness is very important. You have to look around to see your environment, just in case if you're a single lady, you want to know what is around you. And what if you catch that one guy's eye that's looking at you, and you can just, just, I don't know, just flirt with him if he if there's that connection by looking to a person in the eyes. So yeah, that situational awareness is really important. And again, you don't want to always be with your phones in front of your face because you don't know what's around.
Absolutely. I see you guys coming in the chat. I'm glad this is helpful. I'm glad you all love those tips because we know, I mean, maybe I'm an old romantic in those romantic novels. You see somebody from across the room and, your eyes just, when your eyes just hold someone's gaze for just that half second longer. And ladies, a part of your elegance journey is having a little bit of mystery. We'll probably get to this later, but sometimes just a little bit of, she looks like she belongs here. I wonder what she's about. So let's continue. What else does Vivienne say? All right, so we talked about that, and she talked about sitting and standing. So I've given you all a hack what I do when I'm standing and when I'm sitting, and so practice that. Especially the tip is really whatever the back of the chair is, don't slouch down into it. There are even ways that you can recline more elegantly. Always keep your knees together and try to keep your feet flat on the floor. Vivienne says, look up exercises that could help to reverse any posture defects and damage, or consult a physical therapist if necessary. Now, ladies, hopefully it hasn't gotten that bad, but honestly, some of our behaviors can really just become like permanent, like this is the way that we move. So just like we say, the world that we live in is masculine and competitive, and you got to work against that. You're going to have to remind yourself to kind of, okay, shoulders back, chin up, and you can practice walking just like we practice walking with our heels around the house. If you have any, of course, anything that needs attention, you definitely want to tend to that. But it could be and probably should be a little bit of a fun exercise. And one of the things I've noticed, and you'll notice once you start implementing some of these things, you look around at people that are just out in society and you realize how people are just kind of, dare I say, sloppy, especially as ladies. So if you come in, with good posture and make nice eye contact, and everyone else is just kind of like, yeah, whatever, it just makes you stand out in a good way. What would you say, Lucy?
And I love that Sarah had us stand up, put our cameras to our bodies to see how we were walking, how we were standing, and so forth. I loved her the type of engagement training that she had, because she really had us be a little more thoughtful about our movement. Yeah. Also, if you're thinking about maybe taking an exercise class, maybe those bar classes where they teach you ballet, some of the ballet movements. I think Tara danced ballet when she was younger, so she can tell me. They teach you how to stand up straight and make sure that your posture is the way it's supposed to be, because those movements make you more elegant.
Absolutely. Sarah had us think about pulling our rib cage forward, and she demonstrated to us um, what the correct movement looks like and kind of what we look like if we weren't doing it right. So again, you all know I'm a huge advocate of this space, but the finishing school, whether or not you sign up for the any future session, you will get access to our previous speakers. Or if you go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com, you can get just that class. It was a master class in feminine movement. Highly, highly recommended. Ah, what does Killa say? Eye contact is challenging in some cultures, yes. It's disrespectful to look elders, for example, directly in the eyes. You're supposed to lower your eyes. This is a really good point. I can't remember where I've talked about this, maybe in a communication space, but in a lot of Asian cultures, in African cultures, the respect for our elders is that you don't treat them like they are a peer or your equal. You show respect and you show reverence. So, of course, ladies, we always tell you to do what's culturally appropriate. But when I'm talking about entering into a room, you're not really looking at anyone in particular. It's just if you catch someone's eyes, and it's for that little beat, but you're just walking in. Now I'm imagining my coffee shop. I see the counter in front of me. I look to the pastries to the left, can't have any of those. I look to the open workspace over here, just observe, and then I walk in and get my coffee. So it's not specific towards anyone, but that's an excellent point. Lucy, would you want to add anything to that?
I agree. And I think that one of the pieces when we talk in our finishing school, we have an entire section about cultural differences and when you travel to other countries on how to do your research before you go to those countries when it comes to some of the behavior. And I do know that, eye contact sometimes is not as welcome in some cultures, but because we're in the United States, it's a little different. Western culture it's different, but it's always good to remember that in other cultures, the eye contact could be a little less important than reverence to your elderly, to elders.
Absolutely. And Lisa says, I have an equestrian posture vest for training, and it really gets posture exactly where it should be. Shout out to the horse riders. Y'all know I'm not an animal lover, so I don't have an equestrian vest. However, put your back against a wall and just get comfortable, or get your own equestrian vest. I see Erin has a question. She says, perhaps you'll cover this, but I was at an elegant dinner one time, seated at a table with acquaintances from work, and one gentleman just stared at me and said it was mesmerizing watching me eat. That's not mesmerizing, that's creepy. No, ladies, we don't stare. That's actually quite masculine. It's challenging, it's intimidating. And when we talk about elegance and the work that we do, it's never about making others feel uncomfortable. It's always about conducting yourself in a way that makes others feel comfortable around you. Yes, manners are important. What would you say to that, Lucy?
And it could have been that maybe he's never seen a feminine woman eating in a feminine way. Maybe all he saw was men eating like, they're not as delicate. So when he was probably watching you, he was like, oh my goodness, she's so delicate eating her food. So it all depends because it could be creepy too. And with that he said it was mesmerizing, it could be that maybe he had never been exposed to that amount of femininity, I hope.
I love that about Lucy. Lucy always looks at the glass half full, and I'm over here saying it's creepy. But that's true. Ladies, when you simple things, just when you take a little bit of time to put yourself together, maybe wear a dress once a week or a skirt or just something that shows that he put a little effort into it. You all remember when Mufasa Thane came and spanked all of us and told us about some of the things that men noticed that I didn't even think about, right? And so it's probably a really good point. I mean, I hate to say it, but this space that we are in, that we want to get better in, we are the minority here because unfortunately, whether it's post COVID or just, people just getting lazy because we have all this technology, it's kind of gotten sloppy. And, boys will be boys, but as ladies, I think we should be a little bit more refined because people notice it. And Erin says that's exactly what it was. See, Lucy, you are right. I love that. Thank you for sharing. So, ladies, that silent femininity goes a long way. And yes, there is an elegant way of dining. We talk about it in the finishing school, but here's your free tip: slow down and small bites. Never arrive hangry, and all the stuff that you learned at home. Don't talk with your mouth full, but yeah, take your time. It can be mesmerizing. I love that. All right. So Vivienne says, work on building up your self-worth as low self-esteem can affect your posture. I'm going to share my screen. I just want you all to take a look at this. Who do we have here? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm going to drop the link just in case Sarah wants to chat. You can be camera on or camera off, or you can just stay in the chat. You all, this is Sarah Badenova. Let me see if I have her beautiful picture here from the Femininity Project. She was the one who gave us the amazing lesson in feminine movement. I know we have some students in the chat, so if any of the students want to chime in on your experience, but Sarah says our femininity also inspires those men. Oh, yes, that is so true. Thank you so much. Everybody put Sarah in the chat. Oh my gosh, so exciting. Erin Laura says, once poor posture affects one major joint, other major joints in the body skew in attempt to straighten the spine. That is so true, ladies. From top to bottom and bottom to top. And these are all things that you could learn and practice. I think Sarah gave us some exercises we were supposed to be doing regularly. Okay, so let's take a look here. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see what a picture that Vivienne has in here. A picture says 1,000 words. So I know Sarah's in the chat. She can point out anything that we're missing as well. So you see this lovely lady here. Let me zoom down a little bit so you can see the whole picture. All right. Next, tomorrow we move on to my favorite subject, conversation. All right. So notice how she is sitting in a couch. So this could be waiting for an interview. Looks like she's dressed business casual with a very nice blue blouse on, pressed nicely, tucked in, beautiful grooming, all of that from head to toe. But if you notice how she's sitting towards the edge of the seat. And if you notice, she is sitting towards the side, meaning she's not, how men kind of do this thing. Ladies, if I see one more spread leg picture, absolutely not. So you notice how she's sitting and she's almost turned to the side a little bit. So if you notice, her knees are together. Ladies, your knees should always be together, whether you have on slacks, and she has on slacks. She's not wearing a dress, but you can see there, and her hands are clasped together over her knees. This is a very elegant way of sitting. And then when you need to get up, you want to scoot a little bit towards the edge of the chair. One of the things I learned is you shouldn't use your arms to like hurl your body up. This is something you'll want to practice as well. Yes, absolutely. You'll want to practice as well. That core strength, you should be able to just stand up, just pushing up from your legs, and then practice gracefully sitting down. So just the way that you sit there, whether it's, at someone's home, you shouldn't just assume, yeah, I'm good. That is not elegant. What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. And also the way she's sitting, it makes it easier to get up in a more delicate way because you're closer to the edge of the couch. I have seen some YouTube channels where they have women in the group interviewed, and they have these like deep couches, and you see the ladies all the way in the back were just they just seem, it seems like a sloppy type of sitting instead of just, a more engaged, ladylike manner of sitting.
It's so true, ladies. I'm embarrassed to say, but I have a video that kind of went viral, like over 3 million views. And I was on a podcast and they had that low kind of like, not beanbag is too extreme, but y'all know that real like soft plush seating that doesn't really give you any structure. And it was hard, and it was a 2 hour podcast, and I tried to maintain my posture, but I did kind of sink into there like the Michelin man. And then if you're kind of wider in the middle like me, things just kind of spread. So just be mindful of that and practice. Somebody is in the back. I'm so excited. Y'all, we have a special guest. OMG, Sarah Vedenova from the Femininity Project is here.
Hey! I didn't know if I was doing this right. Okay. I'm just listening, soaking up all the goodness.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, first of all, we want to say thank you so much. I see our students are in the chat. And why don't you tell us what you do, Sarah, and how people can find you? And maybe you can tell us what you like, how your class works, so people can get an idea of what you teach.
Okay. Can I first give a shout out to you and how I found you?
Sure
I saw
can.
you on that podcast and you just exuded femininity. And it was just so refreshing because there was a lot of different opinions going on in there. And to see you just speak so eloquently and then see the men respond to you, that was also just beautiful. So we connected, and I just love the work you guys are doing. So yeah, I'm just here and supporting you, cheering you on, anything I can do to help you.
Oh my goodness. So as you all can see, well, if you don't know, Sarah's company is the Femininity Project, Inc. She is a former champion ballroom dancer. If you look at some of her pictures, I broke my back just looking at the pictures. But she teaches women how to move, how to walk. She has a course, how to walk in heels. And we had a workshop. And like Lucy said, she had us all stand up and come to the camera, and she showed us step by step what to do. Can you talk to us about your teaching style?
I would say that I'm a mix of a little tough love, but a lot of encouragement. So I believe in giving women tangible tools. And this is one of the things that I feel like this space is lacking a bit. There's a lot of, oh, women should be like this, but not a roadmap to help women get to that place. So even when it comes to body language, which is a big one, and I know this from dancing, how much it took to create the story that I wanted to tell, to make sure that what I felt on the inside was actually coming across. So sometimes there's advice out there that's just like, be natural, move your hips, do this better. And it just makes women feel more uncomfortable because there's actually a step of how to get there. And without it, there's shame around it. Well, when I just loosen up my hips, why don't I look like this woman over here? Well, there's steps that she did. And even what you're saying with the seating, this is great information, how to get up and down from the chair. Beautiful stuff.
Thank you so much. So let's see. I don't want to put Sarah on the spot, but y'all, we have a special guest in the house. So I don't know if she feels like taking any questions, but I'll share if you all have, a question and she's open to answer. We have covered what's in day 6 for our 30 days of elegance, but I'll share with you all what I learned about getting in and out of a chair. So we talked about not using the arms because it kind of makes your arms bow out like a chicken and it makes you wider. That's a struggle for me. So I have to learn. And one of the things, y'all, I had to learn to do was to slow down and to really lower myself gently into a chair. I don't know about y'all. I always say I'm old. You know how sometimes we just kind of and then we plop down into the chair. That's not elegant. So I try to be mindful about slowly lowering myself down. Gather your skirt up underneath the behind you, and then sit down, and then hit your posture. I always try to keep my hands together because I know I can kind of talk with my hands and try to keep that posture from the waist up. And plus, I breathe better. When Sarah had us do that exercise, I was like, oh, opening my rib cage, I can breathe better. What about you, Lucy? Any other tips?
I don't have any tips, but I do remember the tip that Sarah gave us at the workshop where she says, don't allow your stomach to be the first thing that shows up. I think, wasn't it something like that, Sarah, that shows up when you're coming into a room?
Yes, your stomach should never enter the room before you do. Your hip should always be behind you. Yeah.
And that's where she took us into an actual exercise to make sure that we weren't either leaning to the front or to the back, but centered. Amazing exercises.
I can add one thing if you'd like, Maggie.
Oh my goodness, please. Yes, yes, yes.
Femininity is so much about sensing and activating your senses. So often women will go through the motions a little bit cut and dry and not feel it. So anytime you sit down, whether you're crossing your legs or your legs aren't crossed, every time you lower to the floor, think about how your body looks. Think about how it feels. As you're lifting your chest up and you're sitting back down, think about the posture and what it actually makes you feel inside, and that'll start to come across. It won't feel as stiff and rigid when you're trying to get into these beautiful feminine positions.
And I love what you said. I mean, even just y'all saw me like as she's moving, I'm trying to copy too. Like when she just does her thing, I'm like, I want to be elegant like that.
You
But
are.
thank you. It is a process, y'all. But I love that, what Sarah taught us. There are ways that men move and the way that they carry themselves. And then there are ways that women move kind of more naturally or that show up more elegant as a woman, more feminine. And I think in the society that we live in, where it's just kind of like, everybody's equal. And I always say we're equally valued, but I think we are very different. And I think it shows up in that body carriage too. Do you want to say anything about that?
I agree fully with you. Exactly. And I think that's one of the things in trying to make everybody the same, we also lose the attraction, the difference between men and women. Men, like we fuel their masculinity. They are so inspired by even just the way our bodies look. Our bodies are so different than theirs and they move so different. So anytime you can accentuate that, oh, men love it. Like my husband, he walks behind me. He enjoys the view. And why take that away from him? You should have those moments where you inspire your partners and the men in your life. They don't get it anywhere else. They don't get it from other men.
You know what? I love that. And I want to ask a little bit more about the inspiration, Sarah, because you put that in the chat, because this is a first for me, but I have to shout out, thank you so much. Linda Ballard, 911 Health. Y'all, please put Linda in the chat. She's also a content creator, part of the lead attorney community. She talks about mental health and all the things that are so important in our community and other communities. So this very, very generous super chat. We just want to give back, and I'm so grateful. So thank you. But yes, Sarah, if you would, that inspiration piece, I think a lot of women kind of miss the point of how, just you say, our being. When I do consults, because I know you do consults one-on-one, I also consult, and one of the things I tell ladies is to do less and to be more. We're so like driven to like accomplish, especially those of us that are competitive or in corporate or whatever. And sometimes just our quiet, feminine presence can be so inspiring to a man. And I love what you said. It's like they don't get it anywhere else. They're around a bunch of dudes. When a lady walks in the space, look at Aaron. He just wanted to watch her eat. I'd love to hear what you say about that.
That's beautiful. I agree with you on what you're saying. And I think often, because there are women who are a little bit more career driven, let's take that extreme, and I believe they've been sold a lie that they need to act more masculine to move ahead in that career. But anytime I've noticed this with my clients, and in my career, it was a very competitive career. I was actually competing for a living. But the more I leaned into my femininity, the more everyone around me, the men wanted to help. They wanted to take care of me. There wasn't this I wasn't trying to out men. And I feel like they are the biggest readers of whether something is inauthentic. So when they see a woman trying to act more masculine in the workplace or even just in her daily life, they go, well, I do that better. I don't need another one of you. I need what you bring to the table because that is so special to me.
Oh my goodness, what you just said about men picking up on that, I absolutely love that. Ladies, we're not fooling anyone. I'm sorry. We can dress the part. We can do all of the things. I was in, so you all saw me get dressed up for an event this past weekend, and they had an awards show, and they were trying to start the awards show, and people were still kind of dancing to the DJ and, open bar and just having a good time. And there was a woman on the microphone, and God bless her, but she was trying as best she can. She was like, would everybody take their seats? She was trying to get louder, but with her loudness, we're just not built the same. It was just kind of shrill. I don't know if the man just came and took the microphone or she gave him the microphone, and all of a sudden you hear, I can't even, but I'm going to pretend. All right, everybody, take your seats. We're going to get started. And just a hush came over. And I was like, this is what I love about men. Like, what we're good at, we're good at. And what they're good at, they're good at. And why we try to compete as opposed to complement each other. And I think dancing is probably one of the biggest like visual representations of that. If you want to talk a little bit about the type of dancing you used to do and the partnering.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I did ballroom and Latin dancing. Latin was what I competed in. But there is that dynamic between men and women, lead and follow. And often we hear lead and we think of it as a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing. A man can't lead if he doesn't have a partner that will follow. And there used to be, women would come in and they'd often say, if I have a good lead, then I'm fine. But that didn't take into account how it felt for the man who was leading them. Because we would say you could lead a Ferrari or you could pull a semi. It feels very different. So if a woman comes and she is active and she's present and she has her femininity, that's a great follow. And if a man can take control and he knows what to do, and he also trusts that the person with him has got his back, then he can lead powerfully. It's a complete different experience that if both people are trying to fight for the same position, equal in value, but different roles.
Oh my goodness, what you just said. I wish I had a microphone, I would drop it. Did you all hear what she just said about if the woman follows, then the man can lead even more powerfully? So, ladies, those of you complaining and trying to take it by the reins and run it because you think you know better, we're actually hamstringing their progress because a man's natural instinct to get out there and lead. Oh my, I can't even. What would you say, Lucy? Wow, I got to process that.
I just thought about something. In fact, it would be a great idea if you are thinking of maybe dating someone. One of your dates should be to a dance, to kind of like a ballroom dance type thing, to see if she's able to take the lead of the man. Because you can see sometimes where they can't, the woman's not given. And I've seen couples arguing because she's telling him you can't lead, but she's not allowing him to lead. So I think that that's one of those things that, Sarah, you give me a great, I remember seeing it when we used to take salsa classes around here in California, where you would see the man and the woman arguing about not being able to lead in the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Very good
I'm
point.
speechless. I am so speechless. Well, Sarah, oh, there you are. Please let us know what services you provide, what courses you have to offer, how people can find you. I didn't see any questions, and I definitely want to be respectful of you popping in here, but please tell us how you can help us.
So I help women with their femininity. My mission is to give you tangible tools to help with that. So some of the things that I do is work on feminine body language. That's one of my favorite tools because I believe you can get the biggest impact for the amount of effort that you put in. I also work on style, presentation, communication, tonality, and polarity. So these are some of the different things I do. I do it through private coaching, but I also have a heels course, and I have a body language course coming up. But I'll let Maggie know as soon as that's ready to go.
Oh my goodness, a body language course. And you know what I am going to do? I am going to find your link and I'm going to drop it in. There it is. Drop it in the chat for everyone to check out, Sarah. And Sarah, just so, because I don't know, what is polarity? Can you just define that?
The difference between masculine and feminine, and
Okay.
specifically how it relates to dating. But it's actually,
Oh,
I should just also emphasize, it's not just in dating. Like I can see the polarity between my father and me. And when I am more feminine or in that state, he is more masculine. It's interesting what it inspires for all of the men in your life. So not just for dating, but for everything. And I don't want to take up your time. I just wanted to actually come and be a watcher here. So
no, thank you
what else
so
I
much.
put you guys on?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Sarah. What you just said there. You all put Sarah in the chat if you think we should bring her back for like a study or, we've talked about that in the finishing school, like maybe some type of workshop or something private we can do. If anybody would be interested in that, put Sarah in the chat. I love what you just said, even with our male family members. I'll just say this and then we'll drop you down and close out. So my brother, who's my age, well, a couple years older than me, my mom, I'll even see him say, mom, if she's cooking and doing all this stuff, he'll just be like, mom, no, sit down, or the doctor said you need to take this medicine. If she's arguing, she's like, okay, Phil. And just that is her son. But still, she responds to the man that he is, and she knows, okay, a man has spoken. And it's just beautiful to see, especially when your family are the men that love you. So thank you, Sarah. This was
Thank you. An
such
honor.
a
Thank
blessing,
you.
yes, and an honor. So I've dropped Sarah's link in the chat. You all please check out the Femininity Project if you would be interested in having some type of private workshop. Like she said, she's coming out with a course for body language. We could do something where we could have like a private class. What do you think about that, Lucy?
Oh, I'm in. I love that polarity concept. I can't wait to learn about it. I'm like the younger ones say, I'm down.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let me think what I can say. I want to be down. Okay, that's all I got, y'all. I'm not cool. This was so much fun, y'all. We usually keep these to about 30 minutes. We're here every day for you from the month from November 1 through November 30th. As you can see, the quality and the caliber of guest speakers we have in the finishing school, it really is Lucy and my heart to help women. If you're just beginning and you've never heard any of this before and you don't even know where to begin, this is the community that we're building. If you felt like you kind of stand out, if what's out there doesn't represent you, I am determined that we are going to have this safe space for feminine women to attract and keep the masculine men of their dreams. So I love it. Sarah says, her pleasure. You ladies are doing such beautiful work. Kim K is here for the body language class. Okay, so I'm on it, y'all. As soon as Sarah drops this class, stay tuned. We will have like a little private workshop because I want to know more because I got a lot of work to do. Y'all are laughing. Did I say something funny? All right. Wow. What a good one. I mean, these always turn out so good. So in closing, do you have any final words, Lucy?
Oh my goodness. Sarah's visit was just the cherry on top of this discussion. Amazing woman. The type of information that she has, not only about body language, about how male and females interact with each other, that is so important. And I can't wait to start learning more from her.
Absolutely. Yes, that's what we don't have. So we're putting all these puzzle pieces together. We're sharing from our own personal experience. Lucy and I are older women just trying to help, but someone who's a professional who's really studied it, who can give us references from research. I love that. Okay, so we are wrapping up. We will see you all back here tomorrow for day 7 of your 30-day elegance journey. This is free for the community, so please share, invite a friend. All the other episodes are up for you guys to get caught up, and we will start a new section tomorrow. Are we good for the same time, Lucy, or do we have any changes? Tomorrow's Tuesday?
Yeah, Wednesday is the change that
Okay,
we may have to do it at 5 or
okay,
8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock
okay.
my time.
Okay, so tomorrow we will be on same time, 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific. I'm East Coast, Lucy is West Coast, so we always try to make it work. So yes, cheers everyone. Have a great Monday night, and we will see you back here tomorrow at the same time for another episode of your Elegance Boot Camp. All right?
Yes.